just want to make this a short one today. We're coming to the end of the basketball season, and some of you may realize that it's going to be the Carolina Copperheads and the San Diego Saints, my team, in the championship. It's been a great playoffs to this point. We had a 7 game series between the Warriors and the Rockets that the Warriors won 4 games to 3, obviously. And then the Warriors went on to beat the Detroit Pistons, or the Fort Wayne Pistons in this league, 4 games to 2. And then we just had a great conference championship round where the Saints ended up beating the Warriors 4 games to 3, and then of course the Copperheads beat the Nuggets 4 games to 1. So we're going to be starting the championship series Friday evening after I go to work tomorrow. I get home around 5 ish or so, so it'll be late if you're on the East Coast, but that's when the first draw will take place, and then I'm pretty sure I'm going to go with Monday for game 2 because I'm going to have a busy weekend. But at any rate, that's your update for the playoffs. But I also want to talk about next year and some of the small changes that I have planned for the league. So the first one is going to be best ball. We're going to go with best ball next year. Same thing with the box scores that I'm doing this year. That you have 48 minutes per position. However, I'm going to just choose your lineup for you. What I found this season was that some guys would make their lineup out. A lot of guys did not. And also, it comes down to tanking. I'm not against tanking strategy, but if you have great players on your team, it doesn't make sense that you wouldn't put them in your starting lineup when these kind of players, great players, are not going to be happy sitting down and not playing. So, best ball ensures that teams with good lineups, with good rosters, will do as well as they can do. Now, come playoff time, the lineup would be based on the season accumulated stats, best ball, unless an owner a GM wants to make his own lineup. And they can do that in the playoffs. I mean, I don't have a problem with that because sometimes a guy might have a better per game average per minute on the season, but he had a lot more highs and lows. And you might not like that as part of your lineup. Some of these guys that didn't play a lot of minutes, but they were really productive for a stretch of the season, but they were really bad for other stretches of the season. They would play maybe 5 minutes and have negative points. There's players like that out there. So I will allow you guys to make your own lineups for the playoffs. And you remember that there's only 6 teams out of 12. And that's another thing. We're going to have 12 teams next year. Only 6 of the 12 will make the playoffs. So the first round is just a best of 7 series between number 6 and number 5. Winner of that one takes on number 4. Winner of that one then moves on to the conference championship. All right, so I like best ball for those reasons I just specified. What I do is I download the stats each game, and I I put a column in for, basically, this is the breakdown. It's fantasy points per game divided by minutes, and whoever has the higher score in that respect, he will be the starter at his particular position, and then the backup is determined as such. Another change will be off the bench. Once you've exhausted your starter and your backup, and you need minutes maybe at a couple of positions, a higher rated player can play 2 positions. And so that will be limited to like maybe 1 or 2 guys at the bottom of your rotation in terms of best ball that will play 2 positions. All guys will be listed at 1 position, but when it comes to filling in minutes at the end of the game, I will allow a guy, say a guy only got 12 minutes behind the power forward, but he can also play small forward, and he's way better than the backup small forward, and you still need minutes. You got your backup small forward. You played 2 small forwards, and you still need minutes at small forward. I'll allow that guy who played power forward as a backup to also play small forward. And it's, I don't want to get into it too much because it's, you don't want to listen to this. Basically, it makes sense. And I made an article about this and posted it to the website from last season. So you can check it out if you want to. But I just broke it down step by step how I determined how that would work out. Hope that all makes sense. Okay, so the other thing I wanted to talk about was the fact that we're going to 12 teams. Now, look, I like having 10 teams because the free agent market was always full of good players. You could trade with the free agent market. But I would prefer that we trade with each other, and have a little more fun that way. And there's still going to be great players on the free agent market that you can trade with, especially higher priced players. Something I'm noticing is that guys like Steph Curry, Damian Lillard, Rudy Gobert, and others are not signed, and it's because they cost a lot of money. Kevin Durant's another one. And these players would be signed otherwise. So adding a couple more teams to the league would take those guys out of free agency and put them onto teams. And then it would force us to kind of interact with each other. We would be trading with each other. And that's what I really want. I like trading with the free agent market because it is hard to get with people sometimes and communicate. But my suggestion there would be just let's communicate more. Let's get on text. Text is an easy way of talking to somebody. It's way better than making a phone call because you can just kind of do it at your own pace and you don't feel the stress of, when you're talking to somebody in person. But seriously, if I can't find another owner, I have one owner for one of the new teams. But if I can't find a GM for the other new team, I'm going to run that team as the commissioner. I'm going to run that team, and I can tell you right now, I'm going to be taking some of the big names off the table if I do that. Definitely, three of the big names are going to leave the free agent market, and those would be guys like Lillard or Steph Curry, Rudy Gobert, Kevin Durant, the guys I just mentioned. And there's some others too that could be leaving the free agent market because I think these players need to be on teams in this league. It doesn't make sense to have Steph Curry and Damian Lillard as free agents. It doesn't make sense for Kevin Durant to be a free agent. So I'll be taking at least three key, big time players off the table for that new team and filling around them with younger players, cheaper players, and that type of thing. But again, the main reason for that is I just want people to trade with each other. And we're doing best ball, by the way. So that means even if you don't have top players, like really expensive players, you can still get full benefit from your roster, like by getting like younger guys, because when they're hot during a given game period, they will rise to the top. That's like my program football league. That's how we do it there. It's best ball. So, and that's a very much prospect orientated league. And so that's why we do best ball there. It's a lot more fun to go after prospects, people that you're hoping are going to succeed. And then when they do play well, you get the benefit. In other leagues, you never have the guts to put prospects in your lineup because you're just sure that, based on their averages, they're going to suck every week or something. And then they have a big week and you're like, damn, I wish I would have had the foresight. I want to take that out of there. This isn't a gambling league. I want this to be about building. And it's like you got a coach on your court that does the decision making for you. And the coach will know when a guy's hot, when he's ready. He'll insert him into the game. That's what we're simulating there. The last thing I want to cover is game periods. So this year, our game periods were Monday through Sunday. All those games made up a period. Next year, there's going to be 2 game periods. So we're going to have Monday through Thursday games and Friday through Sunday games. And that means that no longer will you get the 1 game penalty. So you might know that in the current system, if a guy only plays 1 game in a game period, he only gets credit for half his minutes. Next year, he'll get full credit for all his minutes so long as he played a game. If he played no games, obviously he had no minutes, so he gets no minutes. But if a guy in a game period, say Monday through Thursday, only plays 1 game and he plays 33 minutes, he gets 33 minutes. Same thing goes for the Friday through Sunday period. And that will make the playoff draw a lot more fun too. I think it's going to be a lot more volatile next year in the playoffs because more game periods. Right now we have 22 game periods. Next year we'll have double that. And it will make for a lot more volatility and variability in the results. I think it's going to make the playoffs a lot more fun. I think they were pretty fun this year, but it's really going to add that element of surprise, of unpredictability. And I like that because, nobody predicted that the Lakers were going to get beat by the Minnesota Timberwolves. Maybe some people did, but a lot of people thought, "Oh, Lakers got Luka, they're going to kill the Timberwolves." Nope, didn't happen. Timberwolves made a fool out of them. And the Timberwolves are doing good against the Warriors right now as well. Another surprise was Oklahoma City being tied with the Denver Nuggets after 2 games. Nuggets were up 2-1, almost went up 3-1. So you got the Thunder winning like almost 70 games this year, something like that. And they end up struggling in this series with the Denver Nuggets. So that's what I want for our league.